My name is Kevin. I'm the founder and host at When Shift Happens, the most credible podcast in crypto. And today, I'm super happy to be joined by Nikos from Athens Stock Exchange. And we're going to try in this next 15 minutes to understand how the Athens Stock Exchange currently handles, it's very specific, currently handles their bond IPO settlement process, what the problems are, and what they're working on with Mr. Labs and the Sui network in order to improve on these problems. Nikos, let's start with the basics. Who are you?
Well, I'm a physicist. That's my background, an electrical engineer, process engineer in microelectronics, moved into finance through quant trading and derivatives trading to SocGen and HSBC. 99, we founded the derivatives exchange in Greece and the clearing house. And I'm working for that group since then. Now I'm Chief Operating Officer in the Athens Exchange.
Do you want to tell us, on the corporate bond side, what you guys are currently focusing on at the Athens Stock Exchange and how it works?
Yeah. Back in 2015-16, during the middle of the crisis in Greece, we needed to bring in some products to get some IPOs despite of the, let's say, macro environment that was not very favorable in Greece. So what we did is we created an electronic book building process, which is a system basically where you can allow investors through the normal way that they put orders in the market to collect orders via a fixed API from their broker. So we digitize the process through which we collect orders from interested investors. And then we create a book, and we did all the specifics in the book regarding how the auction is being run, the parameters of the auction, and basically we created a process, a digitized process, where we, since 2016, we have more than 40 bonds, ranging from about 40 million up to 1 billion, depending different companies, different sizes, and with a lot of subscribers. So we can have up to 20,000, 30,000 retail investors, and also, very importantly, oversubscription, which is something that the issuer wants.
So, to summarize, you guys are listing bonds, and there is a substantial demand for them, right? How does the current bonds IPO settlement process look like?
Yeah.
And what are the problems with this process that hopefully can be solved with the blockchain and the Sui blockchain?
Yeah, there are two types of investors. Those who pay upfront, retail investors pay upfront. So if you want to buy a bond, you put an order for 10,000 euros, and then you pay upfront to your broker. But we, as an exchange, rely on what the broker gives to us as the order. We hope that he has the money. Also, fund managers, institutional investors, they come on the settlement day, which is a couple of days afterwards, that they put up the money. So when it comes to the settlement day, so the book closes on the last day of trading, we do the allocation, that file takes the stamp, the official stamp of the board of the company, of who got what, and 2 days later, we need to settle. If there are money missing, we have a problem. We have to call custodians, we have to call the clearing members, we have to call trading members in order to prevent any failure, because the settlement is all or none. So it occurs on T+2, all or none. It cannot go other way. If it does not, then there is a failure of the whole EBB process. It hasn't happened, but there is 4 or 5% possibility of having failed instructions in the last day of settlement.
Okay. So there's retail people paying up front, there's fund managers, institutions paying on T+2, and sometimes it could happen that they don't pay, and the problem is that, that you don't get the money. If you don't get the money, then the whole thing doesn't go through, right?
Correct. They might not pay because of failed instructions. One of the custodians was for lunch, or one of the instruction or the account or some of the details of the instructions got missing.
So we're at Sui Basecamp. Well, so I must ask, what are you guys working on with Mr. Labs and the Sui blockchain?
Well, they are superb engineers, superb team. Why Sui? because it's versatile, it's low latency, it allows parallel execution. So, and we can build some features that we need. We can speak later. I can explain later about some of the features that are specific for that process that are needed and could not be implemented in another environment.
Can you tell us what you're doing concretely to solve these traditional finance issues that you're having?
Yeah. So it's pretty simple, but due to Sui, it can be implemented also very easily. When you put the order, you want also to make sure that the cash is there. So the physical cash goes in a depot account, proper account, and then you get on the back of it a stable coin. So you got a smart contract that is containing the order and the cash that you put through. Additionally, if you don't pay immediate cash, but you pay on credit, somebody has to guarantee that. So it's a different stablecoin currency that's going to come in. So you have two types of smart contracts that eventually on the settlement day, when on the trading day, when you close the auction, you know that the cash is going to be there. It's not going to be missing.
Can you explain a bit more in terms of technical aspect, what it looks like? You mentioned stable coins, right? But that's not the only thing that you're using.
Yeah. So basically, it's a smart contract. So every time that money is being paid in the account, the customer, the end client, receives on Sui a receipt. He knows that he had that many orders for that amount and that many Suis issued against that amount. So he knows his cash position and the order position, and when the allocation happens on the trading date, if there is oversubscription, we release some of the amount in cash, and some of the order becomes, depending on the multiplier, could be, let's say, if he had applied for 1,000 bonds and he gets 800, we release to him the 800 bonds and the equivalent cash of the 200 cash that did not fulfill the order.
You mentioned before T+2.
Yeah.
What's possible when this solution that is a proof of concept now is in production?
Yeah, it could come atomic. It could become settled on T+0. On the secondary settlement, you know that in the US, secondary settlement moved from T+2 to T+1. In countries like India, they've announced T+0 settlement. So eventually, primary IPOs can also settle T+0 atomically. So we will be ready for the next generation of settlement through that technology.
Do you know about other stock exchanges that are already doing some similar stuff with the blockchain or are even more advanced?
No, not on the IPO processes. I'm not aware of doing something on the IPO processes. And for us, the most important and difficult thing had been the fact that when somebody puts an order, the bid is, it's private. I don't want to disclose that I put a bid for 1,000 euros or for 1 million euros. And that what the zero knowledge proof feature of Sui that we Mission Labs have developed allows to have the security and the transparency of the blockchain without revealing the actual information about my bid or whoever bid is, but through my information that I have, I can reveal the information to myself, or if the regulator wants it, they can also see it. So you can select who can see what, and that is something that Sui and Mission Labs allow through that technology.
Is it something that you've tested already?
Yes.
And how do you test that? Because it's a proof of concept, but how do you test a sort of kind of IPO scale project as a proof of concept?
It's just ensure that the technology works and that feature works. And we have tested it and it works. We have had a low scale proof, and we just now want to go for a POC. We have some. The interesting thing is just not for us. We believe that it's much bigger. The market can be much bigger. There are other exchanges that need it. at least 2 more exchanges, one for government bonds, one for corporate bonds. They would like to see that. And I think that scaling it up via that cooperation with Mission Labs and Sui is the right way to go.
Why do you need that sort of scaling? Before we mentioned the fact that, I mean, in crypto, one of the biggest kind of issue we have is we think we don't really need to build profitable businesses, that the money is just going to be endless. But in traditional finance, I mean, first, it's not true, obviously, right? Like in crypto, projects need to be profitable at some point. But in traditional finance, it's not a luxury that you have. So can you explain more on like this specific solution, how you plan to make it profitable or make it worthwhile on the business side for you as a company, right?
For us, I mean, when we initially digitized the process and introduced the electronic book building to the banks, we were not received very well because, previously they were having Excels, they had their own software that they were doing it, so it's not very proof as a concept. So they thought that we would take their business away. So we offered it as a service at no cost. 1 year later, they asked, okay, that's a nice service. Why don't you put also, we wouldn't mind if you put also some fees on top of it. So we earn money out of it. Now, offering it as a service to other exchanges or to any other entities or banks to make use of it, the business model can be, customized. It can be a one-off fee, annual fee plus how much money you collect, how many times you run it. But from the perspective of automation and the perspective of efficiency, from the perspective of really, end-to-end process without any manual disruptions, I think it will save us cost and also will generate income, and also it will be useful for the end client. Imagine using the Web3 concept that the center of the world is not the exchange or it's not the intermediaries, it's the client. It can use other features of Web3 to scale up in a different type of world.
So just as a recap, the advantages of this Sui Mission Labs Athens Stock Exchange solution is removing counterparty risk, providing 100% settlement certainty, automating manual process, enabling faster settlement. When time is off, when can we expect to have that in production?
POC is during this year, and we're going to we have started speaking with some exchanges. There is interest there, and I think by next year we'll be in production.
Amazing. Thank you, Nikos, for enlightening us on some of the real-world use cases that the Sui network is helping improve in the traditional finance sector. And thank you, everyone, for your attention.
Thank you.